Ray Cole here from Legends Audio. If you're looking to get into vintage stereo without breaking the bank, you're in the right place. Today I'm sharing my top 9 vintage stereo receivers you can realistically find under $1,000 in good working or lightly serviced condition in 2026. These are real-world recommendations based on sound quality, reliability, availability, and value on the current used market. I'll cover what makes each one special, key specs, sound signature, current pricing, and buying tips. Hit that like button and subscribe. Let's dive in, counting down from 9 to 1. Kenwood KR-6040, KR-6050. If you're just getting into vintage audio and want something that quietly outperforms its price tag, the mid-70s Kenwood KR-6040 and KR-6050 are absolute sleeper hits that deserve way more attention. These receivers give you that satisfying feeling of owning a well-built musical piece of history without emptying your wallet. Released in the mid-1970s, the KR-6040 and 6050 deliver a respectable 40 to 60 watts per channel with clean, dynamic power. They came equipped with sensitive FM tuners that actually pull in stations clearly, solid built-in phono stages for your turntable, and a thoughtful layout of controls that feels intuitive even today. Back then, Kenwood positioned them as reliable mid-tier performers that punched well above their original price point. What really wins people over is the sound. You get a nice warm mid-range that makes vocals sound rich and present, controlled bass that stays tight without being bloated, and smooth treble that stays fatigue-free during long listening sessions. They excel with classic rock, folk, jazz, and vocal-driven music, the kind of gear that makes you want to sit back and actually enjoy the record rather than analyze it. It's the type of balanced, effortless presentation that sounds surprisingly modern when paired with today's speakers. The real beauty lies in their practicality. These Kenwoods are known for solid reliability, relatively straightforward servicing, and excellent overall value. They don't have the crazy repair headaches you see in some flashier models, which makes them perfect as a first serious vintage receiver or even a daily driver in a modern setup. Of course, no piece of vintage gear is perfect. Watch for noisy pots and switches that may need cleaning, and always check that the lights and meters are working properly, as replacements can be tricky. Right now in 2026, clean working examples typically sell between $300 and $600 depending on condition. That's fantastic, bang for the buck. My advice, hunt for one with original knobs, bright meters, and service records if possible. A quick cleaning and recap can turn these into long-term keepers. Hit that like button and subscribe. When you want a receiver that feels refined and effortless right out of the gate, Yamaha's CR-series from the late 70s is hard to beat. The CR-620 and CR-820 quietly deliver that signature Yamaha balance that makes music feel natural and engaging without any harsh edges. These models hit the scene in the late 1970s with the CR-620 offering a solid 45 watts per channel and the CR-820 stepping up to around 60 to 70 watts. Many came with beautiful real wood side panels, precise tuning sections, and clean, well laid out front panels that still look classy today. They were designed as user-friendly performers that prioritize musicality over flashy specs. Listening to these Yamahas is a treat. You'll notice excellent bass definition that stays tight and controlled, a smooth and detailed mid-range that brings out the emotion in vocals and instruments, and a sweet, non-fatiguing treble that lets you enjoy long sessions. They shine with acoustic music, jazz, classic rock, and anything where clarity and natural tone matter most. Pair them with a wide variety of speakers and they remain forgiving and musical. What makes them stand out is their long-term reliability when properly cared for. A good recap helps them age gracefully, and they're generally straightforward to service compared to more complicated designs. They're true set-it-and-forget-it machines that keep delivering satisfying sound year after year. Like any vintage piece, keep an eye on aging capacitors and potentiometer noise. A careful inspection goes a long way. In today's 2026 market, nice serviced examples typically range from $400 to $750. That price point offers outstanding value for the performance and build quality you receive. When shopping, look for units with intact wood cabinets and original documentation if possible. A well-maintained CR-series Yamaha is one of the smartest buys under $1,000. Ray Cole from Legends Audio. If you're searching for that rich, lively character that makes vintage audio genuinely addictive, Sansui's late 1970s lineup, especially the 8080 and G-8000 series, rarely disappoints. These receivers possess a special kind of musical energy that turns an ordinary listening session into something memorable and fun. Hitting the market toward the end of the decade, the 8080 delivered a robust 80 watts per channel with impressive headroom for dynamic peaks, while the G8000 series offered comparable or slightly elevated output thanks to refined circuitry. Both models showcase striking illuminated meters that dance beautifully with the music, heavy-duty transformers, and a level of construction that feels reassuringly solid in your hands. Sansui managed to pack in useful features without sacrificing the listening experience at the core. From my own time living with these units, the sound signature is exactly what many enthusiasts chase. The bass comes through with impressive depth and weight, giving kick drums and bass lines real authority and texture. The mid-range is rich and expressive, allowing guitars, pianos, and especially vocals to bloom with natural presence and emotion. The highs sparkle with life and extension, but stay free of any harsh glare, even when you push the volume. These Sansuis absolutely thrive on rock, funk, energetic pop, soul, and anything that benefits from drive, rhythm, and excitement. I remember one evening firing up a G8000 with a stack of old vinyl by the third track. I was up and moving around the room, completely lost in the groove. That's the kind of engaging personality these receivers bring to the table. Beyond the sonic thrills, they deliver excellent overall build quality and a noticeable step up in power and dynamics while still staying comfortably within a realistic budget. They respond beautifully to proper maintenance and continue performing at a high level even when paired with today's speakers. Like any vintage component, they aren't without considerations. Aging rotary switches can develop noise over time, and the beautiful meter bulbs sometimes need replacement. A careful inspection of controls and a full service is always money well spent. In the 2026 used market, solid working examples typically trade between $500 and $900 depending on condition and service history. That range gives you genuine performance and visual appeal without venturing into collector territory. When shopping, I always suggest prioritizing units with clean, scratch-free faceplates and fully operational meters. Those glowing dials really elevate the whole ownership experience. A well-preserved Sansui from this era can easily become the heart of your system for years to come. Pioneer SX-939. Whenever enthusiasts talk about iconic silver-face receivers from the golden era, the Pioneer SX-939 quickly enters the conversation, and it earns that reputation honestly. This is a genuine crowd pleaser that combines real power, visual drama, and everyday usability in a way that still feels fresh today. Introduced in the mid-1970s, the SX-939 was rated at a healthy 70 to 80 watts per channel, with strong reserves that let it handle demanding musical passages without strain. It boasted those large, highly visible tuning meters that light up dramatically, a versatile input switching section, and a tuner section that locks onto stations with confidence. The chassis feels substantial, and the front panel layout is logical and satisfying to operate, even after all these decades. Having run one in my secondary system for several months now, I can confidently say these Pioneers have a lively, energetic character that brings music to life. The bass hits with real authority and good definition, giving rock and electronic tracks the foundation they need. The mid-range remains clear and present, allowing vocals and lead instruments to cut through naturally without sounding forward or harsh. The highs are lively and extended, adding air and sparkle to cymbals and acoustic guitars. They excel with classic and modern rock, pop, funk, and any genre that benefits from dynamic drive and excitement. I'll never forget the first time I cranked up a favorite album on it. The smile on my face lasted the entire side. It just makes you want to turn it up and enjoy the ride. These receivers are also surprisingly adaptable with a wide variety of speakers and offer outstanding real-world value in today's market. The protection circuits do their job well when functioning correctly, though that area deserves your attention during inspection. Potential concerns include relay issues that can develop with age and occasional dirty or noisy controls. A thorough bench check and service can extend their life significantly and restore full performance. In the current 2026 market, clean working examples generally sell between $500 and $850. That price range gets you substantial power, beautiful styling, and plenty of listening enjoyment. When evaluating a potential purchase, I always recommend testing the protection relay behavior and listening carefully for any distortion or imbalance at higher volumes. A well cared for SX-939 remains one of the most satisfying and fun receivers you can find in this budget. There are certain names in audio that carry an almost mythical aura, and Marantz is definitely one of them. The moment you see that champagne gold faceplate glowing under warm light, you instantly feel like you've stepped into a higher tier of listening. These receivers have won the hearts of generations precisely because they combine timeless beauty with a sound that feels emotionally rich and involving. The 2270, one of the most beloved models, delivers around 70 watts per channel with impressive low-end control, while the 2238B sits in a very similar performance window. Released in the early 1970s, they featured elegant styling, high-quality components, and often came wrapped in optional wood cabinets that still turn heads today. The build quality was excellent for the era. Substantial transformers, clean internal layout, and that signature Marantz attention to both looks and listening pleasure. From my own extended listening sessions with these units, the experience is genuinely special. Vocals emerge with wonderful body, texture, and a sense of three-dimensional presence that makes singers feel like they're right there in the room. The bass is full, rounded, and tuneful rather than bloated, giving acoustic instruments and electric bass lines real weight and definition. The treble stays sweet, refined, and free of the edginess that can fatigue you during longer sessions. These receivers absolutely shine with jazz, classic rock, blues, soul, and acoustic folk, any music where emotion, warmth, and nuance are front and center. I still remember setting up a beautifully serviced 2270 for a good friend. The first time he dropped the needle on a Bill Evans record, his eyes lit up and he just sat there smiling. That's the Marantz magic in action. Beyond the sonic appeal, they reward careful ownership. When properly recapped and serviced, these units can sound absolutely magical and continue performing at a high level for many years. Early production examples in particular can be true collector gems when found in original condition. That said, unserviced units often need attention to aging capacitors and power supply components. Power supply recap work is especially important for stability and longevity. Always budget for a thorough service if you're buying an untouched example. In the 2026 used market, good serviced or very clean original condition units typically range from $600 to $950. It's a premium ownership experience that still feels reasonable compared to top shelf vintage prices. When shopping, I strongly recommend prioritizing recently serviced examples, or at least having the unit thoroughly tested before purchase. Check for smooth controls, stable operation at different volume levels, and that signature warm mid-range during your audition. A well-maintained Marantz brings that special golden age vibe that's genuinely hard to match anywhere else in this price range. Onkyo TX-450, TX-6500, Ray Cole from Legends Audio. Some of the smartest buys in vintage audio come from brands that focus on substance over hype, and the Onkyo TX-450 and TX-6500 are perfect examples of that philosophy. These receivers often fly under the radar, allowing savvy listeners to enjoy strong, clean performance without paying collector tax. Introduced in the late 1970s, these models typically provide 50 to 80 watts per channel with good current delivery and solid speaker control. They feature clean, functional layouts, reliable FM tuners, capable phono stages, and an overall engineering approach that emphasizes real-world usability rather than flashy cosmetics. The internals are thoughtfully laid out, making future servicing more straightforward than with some overly complex contemporaries. Having spent considerable time with both models in different setups, I've come to appreciate their balanced and capable nature. The bass is tight, authoritative, and well-defined, giving modern speakers excellent grip without sounding artificial. The mid-range offers impressive clarity and instrumental separation, while the highs remain smooth and extended even during demanding passages. They handle a surprisingly wide range of music with confidence, from detailed electronic productions and driving modern rock to nuanced acoustic recordings and full-scale classical pieces. I've kept a TX-6500 running in my workshop system for quite some time now, and its effortless dynamics and reliability continue to impress me during long work sessions. Their greatest strength is value. Because they don't carry the same name recognition as some bigger brands, you can often secure impressive performance at very approachable prices. They also tend to prove more reliable in daily use than some of the more temperamental flasher options when properly maintained. Naturally, like any piece from this era, they benefit from the usual preventive maintenance. Watch for noisy volume pots, aging capacitors, and general dust accumulation inside the chassis. A full service usually unlocks their full potential and ensures years of trouble-free enjoyment. In the current 2026 market, nice clean examples are typically available between $350 and $650. That pricing makes them one of the strongest value propositions on this entire list. When evaluating potential purchases, I recommend looking for units with clean internals, testing every function carefully, especially the phono stage, and listening for consistent channel balance across volume levels. These Onkyos are living proof that you don't need big brand prestige to achieve seriously enjoyable, high-performance sound on a realistic budget. Sherwood S-8900, similar 70S models. Every once in a while, you stumble across a brand that quietly delivers more than it promises, and that's precisely the charm of the Sherwood S-8900 and its 1970s siblings. These are the hidden gems that reward curious listeners without demanding a premium price. Hitting the market in the mid to late 1970s, these receivers typically produced 40-60 watts per channel, with sturdy power supplies and thoughtful circuitry for the era. Many featured attractive wood grain cabinets and straightforward, user-friendly controls that still feel satisfying decades later. What stands out in real listening sessions is their inviting warmth paired with surprising resolution. The low end carries satisfying weight and texture, the mids unfold with natural vocal body and instrumental bloom, and the highs remain extended yet gentle. They bring out the best in folk. Classic rock, jazz trios, and singer-songwriter records music where tone and feeling take center stage. I've kept one running in my secondary listening area, and it consistently draws me in longer than expected. Their biggest advantage is being overlooked by the mainstream collector crowd, which translates into strong value and easier access. They're also mechanically straightforward for techs, making future upkeep less intimidating. Of course, older units can develop typical age-related gremlins like scratchy controls or drifted capacitors, so a careful evaluation is essential. In today's market, solid examples usually trade between $300 and $600. When hunting, focus on originals with intact faceplates and test the volume pot and switches thoroughly. A thoughtful cleaning and refresh can turn these sleepers into long-term favorites. Technics SA-5000 or SA-600 series. If dependability and a clean, accurate presentation matter most to you, few options match the quiet confidence of the Technics SA-500 and SA-600 series. Launched in the late 1970s, these models typically delivered 50-80 watts per channel with strong current delivery and precise engineering. They came with excellent phono stages, stable tuners, and a clean, functional aesthetic that has held up remarkably well. Spending time with them reveals a composed and articulate character. Bass stays taut and authoritative, the mid-range offers impressive clarity and separation, and the treble remains extended without drawing unwanted attention. They handle modern speakers gracefully and adapt comfortably across genres, from intricate electronic textures to full-scale orchestral works. One of these has been a reliable daily driver in my workshop for some time now, and its consistency never fails to impress. Technics built these as true workhorses, which means servicing is usually logical and parts availability remains decent compared to more exotic design. Still, unmaintained examples may need fresh capacitors and control cleaning to reach their full potential. Currently, well-kept units typically sell in the $400, $750 range. When evaluating, pay special attention to the phono input and overall channel balance. These Technics models prove you can enjoy reliable, refined sound without chasing big-name hype. Sansui G-5000 700, G-6000, 700 or similar G-series. If I had to steer just one person toward a single receiver under $1,000, it would be a Sansui from the G-5000, 700 or G-6000, 700 family. These strike an almost perfect balance of power, refinement, and pure musical enjoyment. From the late 1970s, these models offered roughly 80 watts per channel with impressive dynamics and headroom. They showcase elegant illuminated meters, robust internals, and that unmistakable Sansui attention to both aesthetics and performance. Over repeated listening sessions, They reveal a wonderfully engaging signature. Deep, well-defined bass with real impact. Expressive mids that give instruments and voices wonderful presence, and open, sparkling highs that stay smooth even during extended play. Whether you're spinning high-energy rock, funk, acoustic folk, or detailed jazz, these receivers make the music feel alive and involving. I've lived with a G-6000, 700 inches, my main system, and it continues to be the one I reach for most often. They combine handsome styling, strong real word, those Marianne, They combine handsome styling, strong real-world performance, and solid long-term satisfaction, all while holding their appeal in the used market. As always, with vintage gear, older capacitors and switches benefit from attention. A proper service unlocks their true potential. In 2026, nice serviced examples comfortably sit between $600 and $950. When shopping, prioritize clean cosmetics, functioning meters, and service history whenever possible. If you're looking for one receiver to truly enjoy under $1,000, this is the one I'd confidently point you toward. There you have it, my top 9 vintage receivers under $1,000 that actually deliver. Always buy from reputable sellers, ask for service history if possible, and consider a basic service after purchase. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe to Legends Audio, and drop a comment with which one you're hunting for. I'll see you in the next one. Stay legendary.